This is awesome. I don't know whether I can record this, but okie doke. This is about like funeral for a friend. As you can hear, I've like made tons of notes about funeral for a friend. I just want to start this Periscope to get everybody in who are fans of the band and actually want to share their stories and the shows that they went to, the songs that they like, and just everlasting memories. Like, how did you get access to that band? And they just announced their split yesterday, which was gutting for me because I think the band helped me introduce me to good music, alternative music, and it was through Burnout actually. Burnout Revenge and Burnout Free, if you ever played those as a kid, actually introduced me to like lots of like a wide range of music. And hello from California. Hello, I'm actually in Lincolnshire. Thank you for joining. I set up like a YouTube channel yesterday, and it was going to be very Periscopally based. So this, I don't know if I can actually upload this video to YouTube. You'd have to tell me how to do that because I honestly I've just started this Periscope thing just because I just want to do it. I just want to do it for fun. So okay, so if those guys that have tuned in, thank you. And if you're fans of Funeral for a Friend, then by all means, just post a comment and say like one of the gigs that you've been to see them. What really the gig that stood out for you that you saw, and just a song that really just resonates with you, that's really just influenced you, if inspired you, because their split is just like gutting to me. When I heard about it, I was just like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, oh. And I spoke to Rich because I do this show called on Endeavour Radio, which is in Boston, England. And I spoke to Rich, who's the bassist, and he's like one of the most genuine guys I've ever spoken to. Musically, he's very talented, and he can actually really write. He can actually write music, and he can actually, put down into musical notes and stuff the songs. Like I was looking at when I was interviewing him, he had a songbook on him, and he was actually writing down the notes and stuff for Pencil Pusher, and this was cool to see. And he was really like adamant when he was writing the new album, which is called Chapter and Verse, that he wanted to make a album which was rough and ready and wasn't polished, and he felt like the albums that we are accustomed to seeing nowadays, like from bands, pop punk bands, or I don't know, just this is a really overgeneralized sort of way of saying it, but he just thinks that producers nowadays can wave a magic wand, and bands don't really need to know how to play their guitars or their drum kits and stuff, and just go, yeah, the producer will just make it good for them. Like they would just do it all well for them. So yeah, just post in the comments thing if you want to say anything about the Funeral for a Friend and what they've done for you over the years in the 15-year career span that they've had. My name's Tom. I'm from Lincolnshire in England, and I'm just doing this as like a first run for my new channel on YouTube, which is called Earwormer, and I announced it yesterday, sort of today as well, and it's just sort of an experiment, sort of like a Periscope experiment. So thanks for joining. I also just want to talk about Funeral for a Friend, and that the fact that they've really inspired a lot of bands, and some of these are like here to stay and some of these aren't. So these would be cool if these bands that inspired them would be on their tour, which is next year in 2016, like their final tour, which is called I think it's the Last Chance to Dance, I think was what it was called, and it's in March and April, I believe. And they'll be playing in Australia, they'll be playing Germany, even playing England. And I thought this was awesome in the fact that they double booked venues, and they will play hours one night and they'll play Casually Dressed the other. So you can take your pick which album you prefer. So that's awesome. I've never seen that before. I don't know if anybody else has seen that before, but that was really cool. That really stood out for me. Can you let me know if you can hear this well? Am I really clear? Am I coming through okay? Um, but yeah, that was really cool. That venue thing. That venue thing was really cool. Double booking the shows, it would be cool to see like Fight Star or the Blackout on that tour, or Kids and Glass. Well, Kids and Glass Houses would have been cool because they like. I can see that their the sort of music is kind of similar and takes an influence from them. And maybe We Are the Ocean. I think We Are the Ocean would be a cool shout. I think that would be really cool. But seeing Funeral for a Friend on tour with No Bragging Rights and Creeper, that was an excellent show. And I went to that in January, and that was in Leeds, at the Leeds Uni. That was a good show. That was really good. I really thought that was well put on. I thought there was a very good crowd going, a very good vibe going. And I thought, at that time in January, I thought that Funeral for a Friend were doing well. I thought, they dipped, and they sort of people just sort of lost interest in the band, and they sort of came back up with Chapter and Verse. There's a lot of songs I like on Chapter and Verse, and they are level pegging with songs on Hours and songs on Casually Dressed, which are two of my favourite albums that they've put out, and I think I will stay with them for how long ever they'll, however long throughout my career and through listening to music. I think I'll always just come back to those albums. But I don't know which one. I don't know. Everyone's sort of different in the Funeral for a Friend taste. Like they usually like Conduit, or they like Hours only, or they don't really like Chapter and Verse and just go, no, that was crap. Or I just think Funeral for a Friend is a bit of a mixed bag in which albums that you like. I don't know. It's really hard to sort of express how, when you've got a band you grow up with and you go, oh, they've got me into music, and they got me into like so many other bands thanks to their music. Like Rookie of the Year, for example, that was the first proper song, like post-hardcore song that I'd ever heard, and playing that when I was about probably 8 years old, like on a PlayStation, like just like that just totally changed my look on music, because I was proper into like anything, like Top of the Pops was probably the only music I probably heard, because it was all, I didn't have an iPhone, or I didn't have like a thing kids have nowadays. I don't have Spotify, or didn't have anything like that. I had like a Walkman. I just took to school, so it was cool to see that. It was just cool to just get that, and I think they've done fantastically for the scene, and they did well at Download as well. Download Festival, they played the main stage, so what's made them just want to sort of call it a day? I don't know. I mean, is it the fact that their shelf life is just run out, or is it the fact they just can't afford to tour, or they just want to focus on their family? Or, I mean, any reason that is totally understandable, but it's just like, just gutting that they've had to say no, and maybe it's for the best, and I don't know. It's just, it's hard to express, and I want to discuss with you guys, if you don't mind getting involved, because I want to know what you think. I want to know what you guys think about it, not just me. I'm just one opinion here. I'm not the ultimate opinion. I'm not the the best opinion out there, but I'm just saying, just putting the word out that if Funeral for a Friend are a bit disappointed that they've had to calling a day, then I think that they're probably maybe a bit more overwhelmed, because I think that we'll listen to them regardless. We'll listen to them for ages. And I think they'll stay in our iTunes music catalogues and stuff like that for years to come. But I definitely agreed with a lot of what Rich said in an interview I did with him in January. You can actually find that, if you want to listen to it, it's like about 20 minutes long. You can actually find that on SoundCloud. It's on soundcloud.com/earwormer. It was for the Endeavour Radio Punk show, which I presented, which I do sort of present. It's now called Earwormer, and that'll be launching in the autumn, or launching in maybe a month or so, and I'll do a few frequent shows. But you can check that on soundcloud.com/earwormer if you want to hear Rich chat a little bit about music, about the state of it, about chapter and verse, about how he created it, because he said that what influenced chapter and verse was a very eclectic mix of inspiration and artists. He said, he listened to jazz, to metal, to folk and classical, and I was just like, I mean, what does he take away from that? And he obviously took away something, because he took away something great, and I think just the first song shows that. Like, the first song is so strong on chapter and verse, and it just shows that I thought that would have been their comeback, and they would have been here to stay. I definitely agree with what Rich said as well in that interview, in that he says he wants to see live mistakes from bands. He wants to see imperfections and honesty. He doesn't want to see a polished band playing to the backtrack, and rightfully so, because I think some bands do this. Some bands do this, and I know they're out there. But I'm not, don't want to just say I hate you, because they do work harder, I'm sure. But I think bands should be a bit more DIY. Maybe bands should take on that that sort of advice, because it's when you see an imperfection, or you see the bassist get the notes wrong, or you see like the guys cut out or something, it's just what makes a live show, isn't it? It's really what makes a live show, and I think I don't know, I saw that from that show in January, which was the only intimate gig really that I saw from Funeral for a Friend. And there was just like a guy in like a red hoodie, like standing under like a light thing. So say like that's like that there was like a light, and it was just shining down on him, and it was just like he was the eyesore of the whole thing. And they just took that and they just had a bit of fun with it. And I think they're a good band. They have good music and they have fun with it. And that's what everyone should do. That's what everyone should do with it. I actually did try to do this as a blab. I have put a blab up on YouTube, but I think that Periscope is probably better for getting my views, well, not my views, but our views together. I think it's a better way in talking about stuff like this and talking about music. I think Periscope is better for it. But I like the fact that the new album had a landscapes feel. Like, if you know who Landscapes are, they have that really melodic hardcore, sort of post-hardcore grungy sound, and it's amazing. It's just like a sound that is used by everyone, but they put their own twist on it, and it's great. I like it, and it's like that sort of chuggy sort of guitar sound, and then there's like a sort of like sound. You know what I mean? Like when they just sort of like pull back on the strings, and it just makes that great tone sound come through. That is sick, like that, and they did that. Thank you, Suge Muse Events, for joining. Welcome to the Periscope. It's about the Funeral for a Friend split. We've just discussed some stuff that Rich, the bassist, said about music, the state of music, and we've been talking about chapter and verse, and how they were on like video games, and that introduced to me from a very early age Funeral for a Friend. They're just like I think it just really, for a lot of people, I think that's probably why that ploy, I don't know if it was a ploy, but maybe that's the wrong word to choose, but Funeral for a Friend being on platforms and just making those songs go on like a certain, I don't know, demographic, or a certain game, or a certain CD, or a certain TV program, just put them into the spotlight, and just everyone was interested. It was so good. But I do want to know why they've just split, because they just played a festival in the Butserfest Festival, which is in Petersfield, and they co-headlined it with Don Broco. So why would they just suddenly just go? Or have they been planning this for a long time? I don't know. Have they been planning it for a long time? Maybe it's been at the back of their minds. Maybe they want to do another side project. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But thank you so much for joining this Periscope. Thank you very much. It's only just like a test run. We'll probably be doing more in the future. Also, just before I go, I like three more things. The fact that they produce themselves, the fact that they self-release themselves via Pledge Music. That was an awesome idea, and Pledge Music is also really cool. I thought that was a really cool feature to do for the new album that they did, and I think they probably maybe should have gone, if they did another album, they should have done it again, because I think it put Chapter and Verse into great stead, and I think it did a lot of justice for the album. And I love Pledge Music as a platform because it's just really engaging, and it's really good for the fans, you know. Like when you pledge up, you get like a pledge for a CD, okay, or pledge for a lyric sheet, or pledge for a box set, or VIP or anything, or play in their bloody bedroom or something, you know. And that's cool. That's really cool. And it's like, say, actually, you know, this is really cool. Really cool for the fans. But what I also love about it is if you pledge, you see backstagey things and you know, behind the scenes making ofs that aren't released yet, which is what people want to see. Of course, you know, people want to see all that. People want to see what happens, how they make a song, you know, how they put it all together. You know, whether it's just they go into the studio and, you know, they play the guitars and think up of a tune, or whether the song comes to them in the middle of the day out of a whim or something like that, you know, or out of thin air, it just suddenly clicks and it's there, you know. And Funeral for a Friend did that. They actually went in and just tried things out, and it worked. So I also admire them for doing that. That's a really cool and professional thing to do for that band. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you for joining the Periscope. Let me know what you want to see more of. Let me know what you want me to chat more about. I do want to chat about SoundCloud and how the fact that that's not monetized platform. That's a really sort of big talking point at the moment, because they're being I don't know if PRS, who are Public Rights Society, or Performing Rights Society rather, are taking action against them because they're not paying the people that are streaming the songs, or not paying the artists for their songs that they're putting up there. So yeah, we'll leave it there. And next time, I guess if you just want to suggest or message me on, I don't know if you can message me on this, but yeah, I'm sure you can see my Twitter. Just follow me, and I'll follow you back, and we can DM, and we can just talk about it and talk more about it if you want to, because I'd love to talk more about it. But yeah, let me know what you want me to talk about next. This has been Earwormer, I guess. This has been me. I'm Tom. And yeah, I'll see you on the next Periscope. I think I stop it by pressing stop. Okay.